for takeoff.
We are cleared for takeoff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the place where real dialogue matters. It is time to take flight with Audio Airstrike.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, this girl's.
You guys.
This girl is exceedingly intolerable.
I'm not okay. I am okay, but I'm not okay. I'm crashing out. My precious TikTok.
You know, it's funny. I'd say this is the worst thing that boomers have done to the younger generation.
Oh,
I'm about to lose my job on TikTok as an influencer. I just wanted to clarify.
The worst thing you guys did to us, because you're 60 years old. The worst thing you did to us
Yo, calling me 60 years old is crazy. Calling me 60 years old is crazy.
That's getting crazy. Us to be dependent on these apps, Ev. Let's keep listening.
A few things. My house, I pay $2,000 a month for my house. And then I just bought a 2025 Mercedes SUV. So let's just clarify that, because you guys were wondering like what I meant by that. So in total, I pay like probably almost $10,000 in bills and food and just my lifestyle. I also want to thank everybody for everyone who's...
Yeah, all right. I think... See, this might be like... she really is an influencer. This is A+ rage bait. Because look, she's got the canes right there. People are going to be commenting, you have money to buy canes, $10,000 a month. I guarantee that's not actually what she's buying. And, you know, that's a sneaky maneuver. I'll give her respect for that. Either that or she's really dumb.
Money on Venmo. I was able to get a total of $6,000 already. Like, that's so nice. Like, no one's ever done anything like nice for me before. But yeah, guys, right now I'm really worried because if TikTok's banned, like, what are us influencers really gonna do? Like, we have nothing to go to. So I probably...
Rev up the fryers. Get a job at McDonald's. Dude.
I'm probably going to sue the government.
All right, bro.
All right, we're going to react to this. First and foremost, I just want to say this.
There's no way she's actually being serious, by the way.
Yeah, I figured the way she's coming. Yeah, the way she's coming off. The way she's coming off, she's just clickbaiting and rage baiting and stuff of that nature.
That's very crafty.
I have to say this. Those of y'all who were like crying and being upset over the ban and this and that, and nobody should have to tell y'all this. Like, some of these same influencers have a YouTube, an Instagram, a TikTok, even a Facebook page still at this point. Y'all have to diversify your portfolio to the point where you're on pretty much all of these platforms at a certain point.
I think the smart ones did. The lazy ones are the ones that like weren't really serious about their career, just never really vertically transitioned.
Yeah, but it's like you have to do that, and you have to monetize
if you want to have a career,
on
like,
multiple platforms.
This is really the ones that I'm telling you, the TikTokers that really wanted to be actual influencers and not just the people that enjoyed the money and the attention that it took. They all went to Instagram and YouTube. The ones that I follow, the real good, like, funny dudes and girls, they all made the switch, and they're all like, they're doing their own podcast right now. They all have. There's ways to vertically integrate and bring your audience. And I just think, like, yeah, dude, to your point, the people that weren't really serious about it, they're just going to go under with the ship. That's all it is. They're crying on TikTok about it ending.
Yeah, but to cry about it and then within 28, 48 hours, it was right back up. Like, what was the point? Like, see, and I understand that nobody knew exactly when or what was going to happen and stuff of that nature. But it goes to show you, like, you have to be better prepared. If you are serious about any brand that you're doing, you have to be prepared. We do this podcast. We don't just post clips on one platform. There is shorter clips on Instagram. There is longer form episodes that we just show the whole thing on YouTube for people to view. We don't stick to one platform and just stay there. It's multiple, and I'm going to be honest with you, keep it all the way a buck. There's multiple audiences on each. We have an older crowd now that's on Facebook, and now we have the younger crowd that's on TikTok, and we have the crowd that's in between on Instagram. So if we're really going to keep it a bean, like, you want to be taken seriously as a business and as a proper influencer, you have to factor these things in. I can understand if you was a month or two into being an influencer and you didn't know. But with all the information that's out here, and I must also say this, because I saw somebody talk about this, I'm like, you guys are making fun of people for losing their jobs and stuff of that nature. Pal, listen.
Said pal.
The job of an influencer is to be an influencer on multiple platforms. If they did not do that, that is a misstep in their business, and that is their responsibility. That is their responsibility.
It's also like acting like because TikTok ended, they can't get an Instagram account. You know what I mean? Like the people that saw it coming in advance, sure. I mean, for me personally, if I had made it by that point, the first time I even got a sniff of TikTok being discussed to have been canceled, I would have started vertically integrating from there and going over to YouTube and like started really heavily like steering my content over. Okay, I'm going to be doing longer form content here. I'm going to be streaming here. I mean, Tony Stavocci switched over, I think, more so to streaming and like YouTube. So it's like, or TRA Rags, you know, all these guys, they saw that shit coming and they just, that's all it is, dude. It's like, you know, but
you have to be ahead of the curve.
Right.
You
but
have to be ahead of the curve.
In this particular case, TikTok's gone. Okay, see what you can do on Instagram. Don't sit there and just cry. And it's especially because it's like, it's for attention too, which is the biggest thing. Is, I don't know, instead of being like proactive and saying, all right, I'm going to do this, that, and third. I'm going to be creating content on Instagram. I've opened up this YouTube here. We're going to try something new. We're going to shake it up. Because I think people also, those people, they really undervalue the influence that having a loyal audience can, especially the type of audience that would like support someone through crying on camera. They'll follow you anywhere, I bet. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter.
As long as it's genuine. If you're rage baiting like old girl did.
No, but even if people are dumb enough to buy into your rage bait and continue to support you, think about where you could take those people. Those are the people that, I bet that's like the target demographic for people that buy shirts from influencers.
The ride or die.
Yeah, Gloves Up merch coming up soon. But like, I'm just saying, you know, like those are, and I don't mean if you buy merch, obviously, that doesn't make you automatically dumb, but there are like, the fact that so many of these influencers are like, oh yeah, TikTok's toast, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, you have a built-in audience. Just
that will follow you anywhere.
That will follow you anywhere. Just bring them over to Instagram, bring them over to YouTube, make a podcast, do what you got to do. I mean, like the best of the best of the best have already made all that happen. And so I'll maintain it. Like the people that didn't make that switch and didn't invest money into getting a studio or buying equipment, they just didn't want it bad enough in the first place. And that's fine. You know, but they're crying for attention now. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's annoying at this point because it's like the information's out there. You guys have had plenty of examples. This is not the same social media influencer landscape that it was late 2000s, 2010s. Like everybody's kind of aware and the information's out there of how to move and shake and try to get stuff started. So when I see and look, some of these people have a bigger platform than me. I'm not a hater. However, the way that you're handling it is not really conducive to your health.
It's not being a hater to say that you're just not handling something correctly.
Yeah, I mean, people having all-out meltdowns on TikTok, for God's sakes. Like you screaming in your phone in a car in public.
That was so annoying.
Like, what are you doing? You're having a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old.
But for them, you know, that's like, they view that as talking to their friends, right? There's the other part that we have to talk about is the fact that the generation, I guess below me even at this point, have been like raised by these apps. So for that, like that's as if they were talking to their friend, I bet, in a certain weird way. Where they probably, it's like, okay, I'm going to log in on TikTok and something I'd tell to a friend, there's no longer that. I think my generation was maybe the last one, and I'm 24. Ev's 70. So the last generation to really not be raised by their phones is, I think, mine, you know? And to a certain extent, would you disagree?
I think we were the last. I think
Not us, because we got phones when we were like 12 and 13. We went outside before that. Like, I remember going outside without a phone. But I'm saying kids nowadays, phones are like, I just dated myself like crazy saying that. I sound washed as fuck. But kids now, I feel like they're inseparable with their phones. And so for them, it's like, yeah, whereas I might go to you about something and be like, bro, I'm going to crash out right now. I'm going to scream in my car. And it's okay because Ev is there. For them, the internet is kind of like almost a version of that. There's a different level of comfortability that a lot of these influencers that are younger have with their phones and posting stuff.
So do you think it's one of those things where it's almost like a safeguard? It's almost like that safety blanket?
They feel comfortable. Yeah, it's like I'm going to go online and I'm going to share. There's never anything in their mind saying like, I don't know any of these people and this is going to be here forever. It's like, oh, this is just like the app that I use to talk about what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
So this is another thing I'm going to talk about.
It sounds good, but then if they get bullied, made fun of, and roasted by the same people that are following them.
Yeah, I mean,
because let's be honest, we know that internet fan bases are fickle.
Right, but
so you could have people say, "Oh, we sympathize with you," and them same people be like, "Oh, this dude's an idiot. Look at him. He's crying. He's doing this. He's crashing out." Da 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 da. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, to a degree, I get where that generation's coming from. You grew up with this technology.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's probably like we ask you. You're sitting from a perspective of like, was there ever a thought that crossed her mind that this is?
And also I'm older, so I'm looking at it that way.
Right, but I'm saying you're looking at it from your perspective and my perspective, where it's like I would think twice. Like we've had things on our other podcasts that we do, Bit Boys, where it's like, all right, maybe we don't post that because it's a little bit personal, or maybe what was said, but we got a little too rowdy, and it's like. Kids this generation, they don't have that notion of like, oh, this is the internet. This is separate from like real life talking to people. For them, it's like two in the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's I've seen some crazy shit get posted on TikTok or Twitter or whatever it is, Reddit. You know what I mean? Like that, because all of it is interconnected. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing too, because you might get some kids that are struggling to talk to people in real life and they get to have a social life and it's a weird way of having a social life if you start off and you're not really like connecting with people in real life, but it's better than not. So I'm not necessarily shitting on it, but I'm just probably that girl was like, oh, I'm having a rough time. Who do I talk to? I could talk to my friends about it. She probably did talk to her friends about it. And then she was like, all right, well, I feel like expressing myself on TikTok. Boom. What do? I'm gonna get canes and then post on TikTok about how I'm sad it's ending, and I'm gonna get comments because people want to talk about what I'm saying.
I know some people probably gonna roll their eyes about that because I know everybody's situation different. But I'm saying,
which part of what I said?
When you said they're probably gonna talk to their friends, but also that friend is gonna give you another level of advice, but also you think they probably talk to their parents about how they feeling?
No, probably not. I think it's like they go to their friends and then they're also like. I'm not saying that they think all those people online are their friends, but it's like it's one gigantic public court of information flying around. So they're probably just like, I'm going to transmit this out into the court of public opinion, and we'll see what type of reactions I get.
So is it one of those situations where I can't go to my parents because they're just not going to understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
and
those old fucking farts.
Right. So they're going to think
what are they going to be? I'm crying about an app ending? They're going to be like, go touch some grass.
Right.
Get the fuck outside. If my kid was crying about that, I'd be like, all right, go outside.
Right.
Pussy. No, I'm just playing. Imagine telling your kid that.
It'd be trauma for days.
Yeah,
Please
I know,
don't
right?
do that.
But no, I mean, like, dude, like, they're not going to their parents to talk about that. It's like, I'm going to go to my two closest friends, and I'm gonna get some angry comments, but I'm gonna get some people agreeing with me, and I'm gonna get that dopamine
I'm
hit.
gonna be honest with you. There may be some parents like 40 plus that understands that social media, especially now, and considering that my generation are now parents, like I think that they would probably be a little bit more understanding that social media is a thing that people do hold despite everything, people do hold the opinions of social media in a higher regard to a degree. So I think that parents could speak to that. I mean, you are going to have the parents that be like, yo, get this out my face, touch grass, get out my face. Like, you shouldn't even be on that, no way. You still have some parents that are like that, but we understand that. I think there are parents out there that, you know, understand that social media has become an integral part of society, and that these are some of the dangers, and I have to get myself equipped to understanding that there are some dangers that I need to make my child aware of, especially if they're going to be an influencer. Hence why you got some influencers, if they're a young child, the parents are managing the social media pages, almost like an agent for the child to a degree.
Which that opens up all types of fucked up
Yeah,
doors.
if the right parents are managing, though, if it's like money hungry, wrong, disrespectful parents, like, why are you even a parent? Then that's a whole nother thing. But if it's like parents that actually give a crap about their child, and they understand that, okay, yes, he did something, or yes, she did something that is making money now, and it's on social media, but we have to manage it so this is long lasting, long term, from the betterment of my child, but also for the betterment of his or her health, I'm gonna do that. I think that system can work if the parent is actually morally right. Now with this, with, you know, TikTok and stuff of that nature, okay, it's back for now. So they figure something.
I haven't
else
been
out.
able to download it. I've been really depressed about that.
Huh?
I haven't been able to re-download it. I want to get back in on the action.
Wait a minute, you deleted that?
I deleted it. Once I thought it was gone for good, I was like, I'm saving storage on my phone. Shit was taking up like 6 gigs.
No.
Now I can't re-download it. I got to go on the web player, which I'm not trying to really do. I haven't really thought about not having TikTok that much. Like, it hasn't been. I thought I'd be like having withdrawals. The first couple of days, I would search for it on my phone, and then like I realized I didn't have it, so I was like, oh. But after that, it's been pretty smooth sailing. Now I just go on Instagram Reels.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing, man. I feel like that and I'm going to be honest with you, this is the thing that I kind of miss about social media and each social media platform. Each social media platform felt like they had their layout, their thing. Now it feels like everybody just bit off everybody else.
Of course.
Which I like the individuality of different social media platforms. I feel like everybody just bites everybody. Like YouTube has their shorts now.
That's
Instagram
capitalism.
has their reels. Capitalism sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like you guys are literally doing the same thing. You're just calling it something different for your audience.
Right. Well, and then there's that's why I wasn't too, for anything, this is just my personal opinion. It's like I wasn't too devastated when TikTok went away, because for me, Instagram Reels are like a more, I don't know, if it's like a more Twitterized version of TikTok. I don't know if you've ever been on Instagram Reels. It's very much so a Wild West of all different types of things. I mean, I always said the joke that like if the group chat, the memes that I sent in my group chat with the boys got leaked, we'd all be going to prison. That's absolutely a fact. There is some vile stuff on Instagram Reels, but that's the thing. It's like it's basically the same thing as TikTok. You know, like all of them are very interchangeable. And that's another kind of layer where it's like you could just I don't understand why those people also weren't. You talk about vertically moving on and vertically integrating your stuff. It's like, why didn't you do that in the first place? Like for me, I post on, and I know you just said we do the same thing with the podcast. I post on TikTok, or I did when I still had TikTok. Post on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and then Twitter. And that's what I would do for every single piece of content I made. Some of the pieces of content, I feel like, okay, I'm going to post on one, not the other. Just I don't feel like this is more of a TikTok type thing. I think it's more of an Instagram type thing. But I would always cross-pollinate. You know, I don't think it's also, that's another part of the game, which I'm surprised that some of the younger content creators, coming up don't understand this, is like, you never want to be caught ass out on one particular app. Like, YouTube is my biggest driver right now. If YouTube went under, I'd still have the people that watch me on Instagram that come over from YouTube. Mm-hmm. You know, would I take a hit? Absolutely. And it's not to say that you can't have one app that you focus a lot of your time on, but like, yeah, you know, I'd still be able to, I think I wouldn't lose a lot of momentum or steam if YouTube got packed up. Just because like I've also been posting on Instagram. You know, people know me there for the same thing they would know me on YouTube for.
Yeah, but you want to know the sad part about that is you these people have some of these people that are reacting this way have a bigger following than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have educated yourself to know.
Let's keep it
to
real.
diversify.
I mean, all of them do, because I only have 617 subscribers right now.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, even you at the size of your platform, you've wised up and have diversified and have put content in several areas where it needs to be. They haven't done that yet, and they pulling more people in. Like, come on, y'all. There's really no excuse for that.
Sometimes it's just more talent. Sometimes it happens quicker for them. Like, you know, if you got famous immediately, you wouldn't be thinking about. That's kind of also the thing is like if you got famous just off the bat, or if it happened very easily for you, you wouldn't have to think about like, okay, well, what if I post on Instagram? Does that get more like what helps me fast track to my goal? These people, it's like, okay, I posted like 2 or 3 videos on TikTok, and all of them blew up. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna keep doing that. Like, they don't have to think about doing all these things until it's too late.
If you're older, you are thinking about that. Like, if that happened to me at 34, I'm like, all right, where can I shift this so I can
it's also
grow?
A life perspective and experience thing where it's like you want to give yourself the best lifeboat you possibly can, especially in the content creation world. You don't want to be, like, again, if anyone's watching this and they happen to be on the rise, you know, and you don't have 4 different social media channels set up, I would highly recommend even getting like a LinkedIn is always solid. I'm going to sound like a washed ass motherfucker, but even a
LinkedIn is crucial.
You'd be surprised who's looking on LinkedIn.
A LinkedIn is crucial because you can post something on your content on there, and if the right person sees it, you don't know where that can springboard towards.
Yeah. LinkedIn's really good for linking. Obviously, that's in the name. So, you know, like I think that is also, it plays a part in it where it's like that's an age thing. A lot of people are very, when they get older, it's more like, all right, you've been through a little bit more with life. You just know to be a little bit more cautious across the board. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want to be, you don't take as many risks. But I think for these young kids, it's like, yeah, they see this app. Oh, I'm going to post on it. Oh, I'm making like $1,000 a month off of it or something. Cool. I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm in high school. There's no like recourse. Then it goes away and it's like, oh, wow, my entire life is, you know, because I'm in high school. And TikTok is what amounts to basically a part-time job for me. My entire world has been destroyed.
Well,
you know
at that age, you think high school and TikTok, that is your world. But
that's what I'm saying, especially
older,
if you're making money off of it.
Right. So, I mean, and you learn pretty quickly that $1,000 a month is only going to get you so far living-wise.
What is that? 12,000?
I mean, it's good for a high school kid.
No, it's not bad. You know,
that's not bad for a high school.
You
kid.
get that. You're basically the mafia boss of the high school at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're pulling up in like a.
You can help pay a bill in your parents' house, and you still have money left over.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Hey, but if you're making $1,000 in high school and you're somehow watching this podcast, I tip my cap to you.
You starting off at the right track.
Yeah. Then get on Instagram. You can make even more money. That's the thing. Someone just got to teach these kids. I'm sure as time progresses too, we'll get more like social media influencer literacy classes as it becomes more of a prevalent job because it's saturating very quickly. I'm sure we'll get more like college professors that teach kids about the importance of, you know, divide your stuff up into channels. The Gary Vee model of like posting. This is what I like. Is like post one singular piece of content and then grab other pieces of content off of that. Mm-hmm. I like that too. You know, just different ways to kind of like get ahead in the game. SEO, hashtags. You know, I'm not saying I'm the best at it because there's guys that are like way better at gaming the system there. So that's something I'm still trying to learn. But yeah, dude, there's so many tons and tons of tips and tricks that you can learn.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there's ever going to be a point looking at the different apps and stuff of that nature and the fact that this was pretty much shut down within a matter of, you know, hours? What does that speak to other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Snapchat? Yes, we know that Meta has bought Instagram and, you know, infiltrated Snapchat to a degree, but do you think we're ever going to get to a point where you can literally get a college degree for being an influencer?
Probably, yeah. I'm telling you, it's becoming like social media stuff is going to be. It's already massive, but it's only going to continue to grow, I think. And you could probably it'll be a high demand job to have an audience or be able to cultivate an audience. Right now it is too, but yeah, I bet you could get a college degree in influencing. But then it'll probably that's probably going to be like comedy. You can get a degree in comedy, I'm pretty sure. You can go to a comedy college. But nobody actually takes that seriously. There's colleges and schools for comedy, but it's just at the end of the day, you just got to get your feet wet and go in there.
At the end of the day, you either can be good at being a comedian or you don't. I don't think you need a degree for that.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with influencing. It's either you have it, you have the chops to be good on camera. Maybe you're not as good as on camera, but you're good at doing things to get a rise out of people, or you're good at branding yourself. There's different things that go into it too. So.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, I'm curious to see where this goes, because on one hand, you have people that, and I know two personal friends of mine, we've had them on the show, shout out to Slice and Rice. They have made themselves, Slice and Rice have made themselves to be great influencers, but with some substance. So shout outs to them. And one of the things that I do notice is that the influencers that are taking this seriously, that are doing what they need to do and diversifying their portfolio, those were not the ones that were sitting there having a freak out moment in the car. However, we do understand that for some of y'all, this may have been the first time where your livelihood has been threatened. And so for those of y'all that kind of went through that the first time, we understand why you may have been freaking out. If that was your first time ever experiencing that, we get it. But that's not a healthy way moving forward as you get older to be having a 2-year-old temper tantrum in the middle of your Honda Civic or Toyota Camry or whatever you're driving in, or your Mercedes-Benz that you just bought. What I will say is that I would suggest for those of y'all who are influencers and want to continue to do this, first of all, understand that social media and the internet is a tool. It ain't your Lord and Savior. Social media is a way to monetize and to potentially make money if you know what you're doing. It is not your world. Deplug when you have to. Take a break when you have to. Set up content so you can take a break. Also, I'll tell every influencer this, whether I have a bigger platform over them or not. If I'm smaller than most of these content creators, definitely get therapy, and definitely seek the best out for your mental health, because everybody's fan base is fickle and everybody wants a piece of you. And when they can't get what they want at that particular time, you're public enemy number one. So I'm saying all this to say, do not freak out every time something goes wrong, or when a platform decides to, go away or get banned and this and that, because you have to understand now that social media is directly now tied to capitalism. This is not like 2007 when YouTube had the only social media platform and it was, and everybody was just kind of tiptoeing their feet into this new thing of content creation. This is not this is not 2007 anymore. We are in 2025. Heads have built brands off of this. Heads is getting Netflix deals off of the stuff that they're doing content-wise. It is a business. So just look out for yourselves.
Second that.
Yep. And this has been another edition of Radio Airstrike. We appreciate you guys, and we'll be back with another episode next week.
See y'all.